Manchester City versus Chelsea promises to be an interesting game. I am looking at the patterns and the injuries crisis between these two teams, and it's very very interesting to look that these two teams almost implement the same style of football. If you look at it, Manchester City in their game against Paris Saint-Germain played 4-2-3-1. Chelsea against Wolves played 4-2-3-1. In attack, what Chelsea does is that Chelsea push Cole Palmer comes here, and then Kenan Dewsbury Hall was here. But Enzo Maresca, instead of to invert Rhys James, he inverted, Cucurella in the middle. And then, at a point, Cucurella was coming here, and then Cole Palmer was dropping in the middle, allowing these two wingers to be able to hold width and go one-on-one versus this. Because Enzo Maresca's system is constantly trying to create isolation for these guys to be able to take on players. Then Nicolas Jackson is coming here. But sometimes we also see that Cucurella inverts in the middle and this guy goes up. Manchester City against Paris Saint-Germain, they played Guardiola, they played Akanji, and they played Diaz and Nunez as back four. And played Mateo Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, as the City midfielders. In attack, they played Phil Foden, they played Savinho, they played Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland. But in application, what we saw is that Nunez was also coming in the middle, so they played like a back three. The same system that Chelsea will likely play. So Nunez was coming in the middle, allowing Bernardo Silva to push up to occupy positions like this, you see. So Nunez was constantly coming in the middle to combine with Kovacic, and then allowing these guys to come up to occupy places. So Manchester City and Chelsea are using the same style. But the difference in these two systems is that Manchester City have injury crisis at the back and Chelsea have crisis in the middle. What are the crises at the back? We know that Ruben Diaz was substituted in the first half, and then he was replaced by Rico Lewis. And then there is also a time where they brought in John Stones. So at the back, they are having crisis. Then in the middle, Manchester City does not have so much legs anymore. They played Kovacic and Nunez, trying to invert in the middle, allowing Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva to occupy a pocket of space. Manchester City also have another problem that Phil Foden is available, but Savinho is playing the other side. There is no Doku. I don't know whether Doku will be able to recover before this game, because this game is already tomorrow. There's no Doku here, so they are likely going to play Savinho and Phil Foden or Grealish, because Grealish also scored in the game against Paris Saint-Germain. But Pep Guardiola have shown that he doesn't like starting Grealish. One of the problems Manchester City also have is in the middle. The legs are not there. Kovacic is a good player, but Nunez doesn't have defensive awareness and does not step up to cover spaces when the opponent attack. And then Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, they bank on their tactical awareness, they bank on their individual brilliance. They don't bank on energy again. They can't run back. So you see in a situation where Manchester City were overrun in the middle, and Pep Guardiola said that against PSG. In the middle, they were completely overrun by PSG. They do not have the legs to cover, because look at the age of the squad, that's something. Only Nunez is a young person, and this is the reality. For Chelsea will be looking forward to going into this game again to try to exact their game. Cucurella and Caicedo in the midfield brings aggressivity. Kenan Dewsbury Hall, will he have the energy to go forward and come back to support? Cole Palmer will also be there. We know what he does. Technically is good. Then in attack, Chelsea will likely go with, again, Pedro Neto and Noni Madueke, because there is no other option. Or probably go with Sancho if you want and play Pedro Neto the other side. Nicolas Jackson is not clinical. So this is another problem that Chelsea need to think about. Clinical and scoring goals. On the other side, Manchester City have a clinical in Haaland. But then the battle again is in the middle. If Chelsea can be able to control the middle, can be able to fight so hard, win face duels, collect the ball, pass it forward quickly. Once they take over this middle, then there's a problem for Manchester City, because Manchester City, once pegged back, they will always concede goals. Their back is not as strong as we think. Manchester City is not a team that will stay on race defense and try to hit you on counter. They want to go on attack. The problem for Manchester City is when these guys step up and they try to go on attack, and when they lose the ball, then there's a lot of space, and Chelsea can exploit them with the speed of Pedro Neto or Noni Madueke, or the trickery of Sancho. So these are the aspect of it. But then if Manchester City, they step up on the pitch and they hold the ball down, they pass the ball very well. Chelsea also have shown that defensively, Chelsea have a shaky defense. Chelsea have not been able to keep clean sheets. They concede odd goals, and Erling Haaland is not a man that you will have to give so many chances. One chance, one goal. He's very clinical. So if Manchester City hold the possession and take Chelsea back, they can be able to also score goal from the position. But Chelsea brought in Chalobah. Chalobah have been very, very strong in his first game, and Tosin did a good job. We are going to see how they are going to match up against Erling Haaland and the trickery of Phil Foden, and then Savinho or Grealish. These are guys that are very, very technically aware and they can hold the ball. We are going to see how Cucurella and Caicedo can be able to, perform in the midfield. So this promises to be a highly technical affair. But there's one aspect we need to think about. Manchester City are mentally drained because that 4-2 loss against PSG took a lot of energy from them. They invested so much energy in that game. They worked so hard. They wanted to win that game and they could not be able to win it. So this game, Chelsea had 1 full week of rest. If Chelsea exact their game and try to stretch the game and make the game an end-to-end game, then Manchester City cannot be able to live up with the pace because their legs are tired. And this game was just played, I think, 2 days ago. Now they have another game tomorrow and it's going to be an interesting one. And Manchester City will be looking or thinking about the next game against Club Brugge, which is next week. And they want to win that game to remain in the Champions League. So these are a lot of things that Pep Guardiola would need to consider, and they will have a lot of negos or players that are not fully fit, like Diaz, that are not ready to play in this game. These are part of the things that are going to affect this game because Manchester City, you know what they can be able to do. So this game, I expect it to be a chaotic game, a game that possessions will be lost by Chelsea, by Man City, and there will be a lot of turnover end to end. From 60 minutes will be an important time in this game. We will now see whether Manchester City have the legs, the energy levels to be able to keep going because from 60 minutes you start seeing tired legs. Chelsea have relatively had a calm week, trained very well, and we're going to see how Chelsea are going to perform. Nicolas Jackson needs to be clinical in this game. Noni Madueke needs to be very decisive because Kopama will be there to release the pass to them. Pedro Neto needs to be decisive. This is also what Manchester City will not want, having these players running at them because they will be tired, and this is it. Then for Chelsea on the other side, Reece James needs to be very, very aware of Savinho. Chalaba will be very aware of Foden. Then number 9, Tosin, you have a job to do against Haaland. So it's going to be an interesting game. For me, I see a game that will be won and lost in the midfield, depending on who controls it better. Pep Guardiola will be looking for Manchester City to use this game to bounce back. Enzo Maresca will be looking forward to getting one over Pep Guardiola, and this is an interesting game. I think both teams will score. I think one team will win this game 2-1. It might likely be a game like 3-2, 2-1, but I know that both teams will score. Let me know what you think in the comment section and your prediction. Let's go.